So for us, recognition plays a very, very important role in creating a positive work environment, in motivating our employees, in keeping in touch with them, right? For us, recognition is boosting morale. Well-being is everything, and everything is well-being. I can convince you why your career is contributing to your well-being, and your health is contributing, and your salary is contributing. Everything is well-being.
Welcome, everyone. Today, I have a very interesting guest with me. She's Idit Aronsohn, who heads the ESG and Employment Excellence at Amdocs. Amdocs is a global telecommunication software and services company with more than 30,000 people globally. In this role, Idit focuses on improving the lives of people in their communities, fostering diversity and inclusion, promoting sustainability with technologies, prioritizing workplace practices and employee well-being, and driving change with leaders in the industry. Her responsibilities include ensuring that Amdocs' global ESG and employment strategies create lasting value by enhancing business performance, valuing social impact, and supporting employee engagement. Idit has played a very important role in Amdocs, receiving a lot of laurels in workplace practices. She's a certified lawyer with more than 20 years of experience working in public, private, and nonprofit sectors, mainly in the communication space, international law, strategic partnership, social impact, and employee engagement. Welcome, Idit. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Partha, for inviting me. I'm super excited. Hello from Jersey City. You can't see my view, but I can see the entire skyline of New York. And we miss you here, so you need to come and visit soon.
Yes, we will definitely keep on meeting each other. So, as I was going through your, the introduction. So, while I didn't talk about it in the introduction, so there was something called the Inspire, the framework, long-term sustainability framework or employee engagement framework, which you have. I mean, can you share a little bit? I mean, let's get started from there.
So I want to say that, my title is ESG and Employment Excellence, and it's almost not a coincidence, though some could argue it is, and we actually made the rationale after. But I am responsible for ESG for the company, environment, social, and governance, and corporate social responsibility, and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and well-being, which we will focus a lot on well-being in this conversation. And about a year and a half ago, I also assumed the responsibility for employment excellence, which is kind of the workplace practices that we're creating. And the reason why I'm going one by one is to really make the connection between all of them, because when we're thinking about the connection of employee engagement and pride and sense of belonging and sense of impact and the ability to work in a safe and healthy workplace environment, all the way starting from the basic employment practices, but all the way to the development programs and to employee engagement programs, I see a very, very strong connection. And actually within our global team, and I'm proud to say that we are a global team that is looking after all those 5 practices that I shared. And we're going all the way from the Philippines through India and Israel and Cyprus and the US and Mexico in terms of our team spread. For those of you who don't know, Amdocs is a company of 30,000 employees spread in 90 different countries. So we're really actively looking to see how we can create the best workplace environment for our employees. Some of them are done through different programs. The Inspire program actually is a program that is looking to close the gender gap and to bring leaders and to give them an extra, on top or as part of their day-to-day role as leaders in our business throughout our company. They are looking to actively close the gender gap, and it's a beautiful program that brings a lot of passion. And I think that passion is the key word, right? When people are coming to their work in the morning and they have a sense of purpose and a sense of impact and passion, I believe that these are one of the biggest contributors to their well-being.
I totally agree on the passion part of it. People talk about employee engagement, giving that extra chocolates or beer in the office and all those things. But I think, and the 4 people are now talking about the 4-day work week and all. So I have been telling people, I can work 7 days as long as I'm passionate. I have my work-life balance within that. Okay, so it's the passion. You don't feel tired when you have the passion. If you don't have the passion, it's
I
like drudging.
agree completely.
Then you look for
We
all
did
the.
a very and we're still working and putting a lot of effort around burnout. Burnout is the new pandemic. I mean, burnout, mental health, which are very much connected. I think these are the two maybe top topics for us to look at within our industry and the workplace in general. And when we looked at the catalyst for burnout, like what is causing burnout, some would think that long hours are the main reason. The answer is 100% no. As you said, you can work 7 days a week and be full of energy, and you can work 4 hours a day and be completely numb. There are different, we can talk about it maybe later about the reasons of why we connect or found what brings people to stages of different burnout. But definitely a workload is one part, but it's for sure not the biggest part for it.
No, I so agree with you on that. And by the way, I didn't know that you were in 90 countries. We work with you, but I myself was not aware that you are in 90
Yes,
countries.
yes. Well, and thanks to you, and I hope we'll get a chance to talk about it later, but thanks to you, really, we were able to bring a unified experience to our entire employee base, wherever they are and whenever they are, which is a beautiful advantage for working with you.
Yeah, I think it's an honor for us to work with you guys. So I mean that brings me to a very interesting thing on the you talked about passion, and I think it's what creates employee engagement. We have seen by talking to various leaders as well as all kinds of reports which are there that employee engagement is one of the key areas. But when in practice, when we really look at it, or when we have spoken and seen the practices, we find that it's somewhere a checkbox activity being done by a transactional HR at a mid-level and junior level. I have never seen, not never seen, I've seen like a lot of advanced, progressive companies where the senior management is involved in this. So I know the answer is yes, but so how do you look at employee engagement? And as in, like, from is it a senior management focus? Is it like, okay, just get these 5 things done at the bottom, or the mid-level managers? So how do you at Amdocs think about it?
Well, for me, when you say employee engagement, it's like you tell me what is leadership or what is well-being. These are such broad term, and I can convince you, not just because I'm a lawyer, but I can convince you that everything is engagement, everything is well-being is everything. And like, these are, and they're very subjective terms, by the way. And when we looked, and I'll go in a second back to engagement, but when I first assumed the responsibility for well-being almost 4.5 years ago, when we try to say, what is well-being? Let's try to make it tangible. It's everything, because it's from your mental health to your physical health, to your learning and development, to your salary, even to your family situation, right? Your personal situation. Going back to engagement in a paraphrase, it's the same. Engagement, is a very subjective term. Still, for us, in order to be consistent, we are looking at a few streams that are connected to our employer value proposition. And if you want to come and work for Amdocs, we want to give you a promise. And as part of our promise, we have identified 4 main pillars for that. One is your ability to make an impact. And to make an impact from your role is from whether you are a software engineer or you work as a corporate function in finance or HR or in legal, or you are a salesperson. The ability to make an impact is a significant role in creating a sense of purpose and of course impact. And we took it one step further. When we translate impact, it's not just within my role, but actually in my ability to impact society. So a strong connection to volunteering and to impacting the communities around us, and really bringing our passions and skills into those communities and for the people who need us the most. And it could be from creating a technology that provides or connects between people in different food insecurity situations and food surpluses. So we were able to match food for them, but it goes all the way to upskilling and reskilling people into AI and technology. And I can talk an hour only on that. So one is impact. The second is growing your career. And we find very, very strong connection between people's ability to grow and develop within our company. So career mobility, we are very, very proud that 50% of our placements are done internally. Internal mobility is comprised of 50% of our internal mobility is of our recruiting is done internally. And the ability to play in the playground that we're offering you, to switch roles, to acquire new skills, to grow and develop your career, is a significant part of people being engaged and loyal. And again, I'm going back to the passionate and hungry for their next step. The third, and this is a major part that we're looking at, is flexibility. Flexibility is key, and it was mega accelerated during COVID, but not only, right? But COVID was definitely an accelerator for that. But our ability to offer people flexibility of all kinds, okay? We have a hybrid work model of working 3 days from the office. So today I'm speaking to you from the office, but tomorrow we'll work from home because I have this flexibility from my employer, and we know how this flexibility serves so many aspects of people's needs these days. But it's not only that. Vacation with no limit. We trust our employees to take time to recharge whenever and how much ever that they need, trusting them that they can still perform to their best. Flexibility is also going back to the previous topic of career growth and mobility. We allow you after a while to switch your career and encourage you to do that. And flexibility is in many other ways, but it's a core engagement and connection that we see to our employees. And the last, and this is, they're all my favorite, but I have a special favorite, is what we call meaningful connections. The ability for you, and I am a people's person. I love people. For me, making friends at work and having meaningful connections, professional, but also personal as much as possible, is so important and such a key component for my. Listen, I am 13 years in Amdocs.
Wow.
13 years. I never thought that I would be working for a place for more than 2-3 years before I joined Amdocs. You could see in my CV every 2 years I went somewhere else. The 13 years of my tenure in Amdocs is really a display of everything that I said. My ability to make an impact within my role and in society. My ability to change and grow my career. I started with a small role, and now I'm leading a team, an organization that looks at 5 different areas, that each and one of them is a whole world. Flexibility that allowed me to go in and out from maternity leave, to move from working in one place to relocate to this beautiful place that I'm working and talking to you now, and the meaningful relationships that I have with my colleagues, friends. Some of them I consider as family. I think this tells the story of engagement from the way that we see it. And of course, there are many other aspects. And please ask me more about relationships, because this is our theme for well-being.
That's so nicely put. The creating an impact, growing your career. You have different options, the flexibility in various aspects of your life, and the meaningful connection. I'll come back to the meaningful connection, but I just want to, because I have worked with, or at least interacted with, a lot of your team members. I see that passion, and when we met also, we talked about, your team is very passionate, and you were like, you immediately jumped on it and said, like, yeah, that is the most important criteria to be in my team.
Yes.
I see you walking the talk there. I'll come to the meaningful connection, but just as you brought about these things, so how do you measure your employee engagement? is there some one thing, or is it through surveys, or is there any way in how you're able to measure that, yes, we are taking the right steps, we are moving in the right direction? How do you do that?
So there are a few ways to measure it. First of all, we have our employee engagement survey. In the past, we also had 2 rounds of the OHI by McKinsey, the Organizational Health Index. And in these surveys, and some of them are being done on an annual basis, and some of them are kind of ad hoc. We're doing kind of pulse surveys, as we call them, which are usually smaller, either on specific topics or to specific groups in our global workforce, in our population. And in those questions, and it's called employee engagement survey for a reason, right? We are not only checking satisfaction. Satisfaction is one element, but sometimes, and we hope to see correlation between satisfaction and engagement, but sometimes you can be satisfied and not engaged, or you can be engaged and not satisfied, right? We know it's very complex. So we do that. We measure, we ask our employees directly, and we have additional sensing tools that we're using, from roundtables. And I want to say, in many cases, for me, participation. If we just finished, I'm proud to say, a few weeks ago, we had our first ever Acts of Amazing campaign. So it was a global volunteering campaign. We have many volunteering opportunities throughout the years. We're very proud to have tens of thousands of hours of volunteering every year. But we've never done like this one. It was 2 weeks where we brought our entire employees under one framework to go and spread good in the world. And we've seen, we were able to impact 50,000 people in our communities in less than 2 weeks, with over 200 activities that we had in the world. And for me, this is exactly a shining example of engagement, because taking people out of their busy days and out of, we have a production here and something to fulfill here, and deadlines and a lot of pressure in life. And it was a second before the holiday and after a holiday, and still we managed to take people out, and their vote, they opted in. We didn't force anyone, and taking so many people and doing this is, for me, of course, surveys are important, but I see in my eyes, I see the participation. So this is definitely one recommended way to check engagement.
No, I think it's just like walking the floor and talking to 3 people. It gives you a sense. It's just like getting a sense in the company. But I just picked up one thing which you said, there's a difference between satisfaction and engagement. I so relate to that. So sometimes we are in the employee rewards and recognition space, right? So sometimes when we talk to companies, they say, okay, what's the ROI, and how will you measure the ROI? Will you increase this retaining employees, or attrition should reduce? So I say that I think it's a very long way from recognition to attrition, and there's so many different factors come into play. But I think that is not even important in today's work environment. People will change jobs, okay? And I give an analogy of that. As long as you are in a relationship, you should be in love. But you can part ways for different circumstances, okay, different reasons. But as long as you're in the relationship, you should be engaged. And that is the purpose of having a recognition program, or that maybe it's connected to your belonging thing. You are there. It's not like the attrition it's just one number. Yes, it gives you some signals about it, but not.
By the way, sometimes attrition is not just negative. Attrition has, people changing and moving. It's okay. We are not aspiring to have 0% attrition. Not at all. It's right. Good to refresh from both sides, by the way, from the organization point of view and also from the employees.
True. And have you seen any, you have been there for 13 years, okay, but I'm pretty sure the factors which were impacting engagement has changed over the years. Gradually changed, or some things have got more focused. For example, well-being after COVID has become more important. Flexibility in the working hour has become more important. What have you seen in the last, say, 5-7 years? What has changed today? What is important? What was less important maybe a few years back? Any particular trends you see?
So sorry to be repeating myself, but I really think, and I love our employer value proposition, because I think it nailed it. Because when I'm looking at the things that happened to us in the last few years, and there were a few aha moments for people, personal, and yes, mega pandemic was also part of it, but people understand that life is short and you don't have a second opportunity, right, to live your own life. And so waking up in the morning for a purpose and is what people are looking for. And again, purpose doesn't have to be me now finding cure for cancer. Purpose could be in many shapes and forms, but the ability to feel that I matter, right? That the work that I do matters, that I wake up for a purpose, for a mission, and my ability to make an impact. And again, I think that flexibility is something that we see big time, and this what brought us. And if you look at our timeline, you would see that in the last 5 years, every year and a half, we bring another level of flexibility to our employees. So it started with 1 day work from home. Then the pandemic, I want to say we were so lucky or smart, depending how you want to look at it. But 2 months before COVID outburst, we introduced 1 day work from home as a flexibility offering. And thanks to that, March 2020, when our management needed to make a very hard decision to send everyone to work from home in 1 day, the maturity of the systems and of the organization, because working from home, and maybe we can talk about it, flexibility in general requires a lot of trust from all sides, from the leadership, from the managers, from their teams, because suddenly from a situation where you walk in the corridor and you see your team and you know exactly when did they come, when did they leave, what are they doing, you walk by, you see in your eyes, suddenly this is an exercise of release and release control. And a lack of control is a very shaky situation. So flexibility, although it brings a lot of value, requires a lot of confidence and trust. So our ability to move in 1 day our entire workforce into working fully from home, thank God we had all those pre-discussions and trainings and all of it to say, okay, listen, 1 day from home is happening, and the IT systems and everything. So we were very lucky. So I think that purpose and flexibility are the two biggest trends that I can see.
No, I see that in the personal life also. And if you think about it, it's not just COVID, right? In the last 5 years, things which were unimaginable the year before. I mean, who would think there's a war in Europe, right? I mean, no one would be ever thinking that there'll be a war there.
Yes.
And it creates all the anxiety and that. So many things have changed. On the purpose things, I had, I was discussing with someone. Said, hey, you live only once. And then he made a very interesting observation. He said, you live every day, you die once. Okay, so you live every day, so you have to wake up, and then every day you have to find a purpose. So you live every day, you die once. So I thought, okay, that's a very powerful statement.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you need to make sure that every day matters, right?
True, absolutely. So let me come to the recognition part of it. So we, of course, are in the space of recognition and rewards, and we feel that engagement is a slightly bigger gamut, as you have talked about all the different factors which are there. We feel maybe in your belongingness area is where recognition plays a part. Now, we have seen that. I've looked at a Gartner report where it says recognition is one of the pillars of employee engagement, right? And people ask what kind of data and all those things. I said, forget about data. Who doesn't like to be recognized, right? Everyone loves recognition. And even the giver gets a satisfaction by recognizing people there. So in your case, we of course know it, but for a bigger audience, I mean, what part does recognition play in your entire engagement strategy?
So recognition is a big part of our strategy. And recognition, and I'm distinctive between recognition and rewards, right? They're connected, but they don't have to be connected, because just to say thank you is almost a skill, a micro skill that we all need to make sure that we practice all the time. So for us, recognition plays a very, very important role in creating a positive work environment, in motivating our employees, in keeping in touch with them, right? For us, recognition is boosting morale. When I get a thank you, when we have the ability to, and we have different types of recognition ways, right? Like we can say, just a small thank you. We can send a message. We can send an email with a long distribution list, just so that everyone sees it. We can stand in a town hall and recognize people. There are many ways to do it. So it's boosting morale, and it brings energy. It's recharging and it brings energy. We see strong correlation also to improving performance when you're being acknowledged for your impact. And I want to say, this is a personal belief that I have. I rarely recognize just for the input, just for the effort. I'm looking at let me rephrase it maybe. Recognizing for effort is very, very important. Connecting it to impact. And I want to say, connecting to impact doesn't mean that you succeeded, because I want to also recognize failures. It's important to recognize failures because you learn from failures. And I know that I sound like very cliche, but I truly believe. So learning for something that you put a lot of effort and you did all the right things, but at the end it failed. We should also recognize it, and sometimes, yes, we should also celebrate failures. It's important for us as an organization. So I want to say it's looking at the footprint that people are having is something that, again, not only boosting morale but also improving performance. Again, when you succeeded, but also when you failed. I do feel that it contributes to retention and to loyalty, because again, when you're seen, we had to say a few words that employees want to be seen and heard, right? And this is where you asked about how do we know and how do we measure. So feeling that I'm seen, recognition is kind of ticking a very important box in this context. And in general, I think that creating a culture of appreciation and saying this is part of us, right? We are creating a culture where, again, we recognize success, we recognize failures. Or again, we don't want to fail, of course, but we leave part of legitimacy to fail, because if you don't fail, you don't improve. So I think looking at recognitions from this aspect is something that we are very much pushing, and we have created over the years some platforms for it. Some of it is connected to the work that we're doing. For example, peer-to-peer recognition, which is a strong push that we give in the past year. Yeah.
I think it's so refreshing to hear, and you focusing on the recognition part of it. So we have been talking about flipping the R's. I mean, so it's called rewards and recognition. R&R is rewards and recognition. We're saying it should be flipping the R's, recognition and rewards. So recognition should be the hero, and rewards should be the supporting role, the side actor who helps in the recognition part of it.
And I want to say, every reward, in my opinion, every reward includes recognition. Not every recognition should include reward, right? By me rewarding you should come with a recognition, but by me recognizing you, I want to say, sorry, I sound like a mega cliche now. Recognition is a reward by itself. Now, yes. I don't dismiss the need to give tangible rewards. If it's a voucher, if it's a bonus, I don't dismiss it at all. But the culture of recognition is for me the top, and then there is the boost of the rewards that come with this. I totally agree with you.
Absolutely, and I'll give you a simple analogy to that, right? So you go to a dinner at a friend's place, you don't give them a $200, right? You give them a $20 flower bouquet, right? So if you give a $200, then the host will start thinking, "Oh, my dinner was only $200. It should have been
This is the worth. Yeah. Yeah.
but a flower bouquet, which is much cheaper, it is a token which is given. So we see the rewards and recognition as rewards as just being a token there, as a small gesture there. But interesting. So I'll come to what you talked about, that meaningful connection part. Okay, so maybe you can elaborate. I mean, it's again a very motherhood kind of statement there. Meaningful connections. So what exactly is that? And maybe I'll follow up on that.
I'm very happy to talk about it because I'm super passionate about this topic. When we, in our evolution on the way that we look, perceive, and manage well-being, it's a journey for us. And over the years, we try to think of the holistic way to look at well-being, because as I said in our first sentence of this podcast, well-being is everything and everything is well-being. I can convince you why your career is contributing to your well-being, and your health is contributing, and your salary is contributing. Everything is well-being. Over the years, we try to think what would be the needle mover for us as an organization trying to improve the well-being of our employees. What is the thing that the organizing idea that we can look at to do that? And I want to say maybe a second before that, because well-being is so much, we wanted to focus. Our focus areas for well-being are 3.5. We're focusing on mental health, on physical health, and on teaming and belonging. And those 3 directions, teaming and belonging, we clustered into one. Looking at that, we said, okay, so how do we go about it? What do we do? And because our culture in our company is very much about the relationships and the meaningful relationships, we said, let's look at what are the directions that impact your well-being, again, through the focuses, but much more beyond that. And we identified 6 relationships. And I can say that if any organization wants to adopt this, you can look at it as 5, because in our unique model, we have a distinction. But our relationships, and I'll go one by one, but I just want to say all of them together, and then I will focus on a few of them because I'm looking at the clock. We have identified 6 relationships. It's the relationship with the direct manager. The second is around the cultural and location connections. Again, 90 countries, 30,000 employees. This is a mega type of relationship. The third, which is the third and fourth together, are the unit that I belong to. And in the Amdocs case, it's also in many cases the account that I'm serving, okay, because this is our unique model. So it's that. Then we have peer relationships, and we talked about it a little bit in recognitions. But when I walked in this morning here and I saw my colleagues here, and none of them are part of my unit, they are still my peers. And last but not least, and we cannot dismiss it, it's how we encourage individuals to take a proactive approach for taking care of their own well-being. Okay, so it's manager, location, unit, peer, and myself. Now, I won't go into all of them in details unless you give me more time, but I want to start with the most important.
Go on. I mean, it's okay. You carry on.
So for me, one of the most important ones is the relationship of me and my manager. And I'll explain why. And it's been proven in every piece of research that employees do not quit jobs, they quit managers. They leave managers. Because at the end of the day, I can come with the most flashy programs and give you the best chocolate and the best chair, and everything will be amazing and the best salary. But when I wake up in the morning, if I go and I work in a work environment that is not healthy for me for whatever reasons, or if my manager's managing style is not something that fits to me, I would not stay just because of the chocolate and the salary. We all agree. I think it was McKinsey that says that I think 86% of employee satisfaction is based on their relationship with their managers. So for us, the ability of the manager to, by the way, celebrate the personal and professional milestones with me, and to create psychological safety. And psychological safety is so important in well-being and connection and engagement. And it's about their ability to recognize me in the team, and the bigger part way of it is super, super important. And so we are investing a lot in the past year and in the coming year in the relationship with the manager. And as part of our work together, this is one of our biggest focuses, to give managers the tools to manage also the side of recognition and reward through the work that we do with Vantage Circle. When we're looking, I'll address two more. I want to say maybe something about the location, the relationship with my location, the ability to give the right tweaks to the strong cultural aspects of the country that I'm part of, the community, the site, the offices. Like these are kind of bringing the ability for people to be their best selves and to connect it to a very strong sense of belonging. For us, the relationship with the unit or with the account is something that takes and connects people actually to the strategic direction of the company. And we need to understand that for us, well-being and engagement, it's not just about the soft sides of things. It's in the core of the connection to the strategy and the ability to empower and grow our employees to fulfill this the strategic directions of the company while looking at them holistically in a 360 mode. So the ability to celebrate business success, the ability again to have people understand the direction of the strategy and to connect it. This is super important. And I want to say one more thing about maybe the peer, and for that, we created a peer-to-peer recognition platform. Together with you, we're able to really provide employees with the ability to say thank you to their peers, to celebrate, to acknowledge, and to see that we are, walking the talk of what does it mean to create a culture of appreciation. And I know I said I won't talk about everyone, but I do want to say something about the self. Because at the end of the day, and this is my message to myself and to everyone, at the end of the day, there is so much that an organization can do for you. You need to be accountable for your own well-being. You need to take charge of your well-being and of your day-to-day. And we talked about, impact and growing career and flexibility and everything. At the end of the day, we can create the playground for you and the platforms, but you need to pick it out of the shelf. You need to adopt it and take the time to recharge and take the time to make changes if needed. And this is why flexibility is so core into it. So this proactive, the ability to create platforms for employees to proactively manage their well-being is super critical for us.
It is so important. I mean, like the company can facilitate. Ultimately a person has to take the responsibility for their own well-being. But this 5 strategies, or maybe the 6 which you're talking about, I think this is a wonderful framework. The manager, location, unit, peer, own. I think it's a nice hierarchical thing which you have built up. I'm pretty sure you all would also want to say a lot of things, but I'm keeping a check on the time here.
Yeah.
I mean, my last question would be about how has been the experience with us, and of course, anything else you want to add beyond this relationship, anything which you want to highlight about Amdocs. I'm happy to hear that. And my question would be about the relationship with Vantage Circle.
So first of all, really, it's an opportunity to say thank you. We see this partnership really is invaluable to us. When I, again, a few years ago, took responsibility for the well-being domain, and I was wearing 2 hats because I'm a manager, I'm a leader in the organization, but I was also, leading the development of the practice. One of my biggest pains was the fact that we are not able to provide the same experience to people because of I don't want to say logistics, but it shouldn't matter whether you're in India and I'm in the US and she's in Brazil and he's in the UK or in the Philippines or Mexico. It doesn't matter. They should feel that they work for the same company. Now it's a big experience, world of experience. But when it comes to the relationship with you, my dream was to be able to reward and recognize my employees no matter where they are. Now it was easy for me to do it when they are with me in the same location. It was impossible for me to do it when it's remote. And remote management, it's a challenge by itself. We are global teams. We need to overcome so much. So yes, the virtual world is beautiful, but it's not substituting the face to face. So the fact that you, together with you, we're able to create, and for those of you who don't know, our relationship with Vantage Circle started with giving a global gifting platform, but since then it's growing and deepening, and we're doing so much more than that. But the ability to create really a unified experience where it doesn't matter who you are or where you are, you're able to get our Christmas gift and you're able to get your birthday gift from us. And in the very near future, your manager will be able to give you even more through this system. And this is one of my biggest aspirations. The fact that it's flexible and you allow flexibility for people to manage their wallet and to say, okay, today I want to buy, I will not do any free commercials here, but I want to take a voucher from this one and tomorrow another voucher, and I can keep it and I can manage it. And I can tell you, I never told you that, but I moved to a new house a few months ago and I wanted to buy this lamp, whatever. And I said, okay, I'll download, I'll redeem my rewards from Vantage Circle. I'll create a gift card for the store that I wanted to buy from. And now I have a lamp, thanks to you and Amdocs, sitting in my living room, thanks to this platform. And for me, you won't be surprised, the fact that you enable charitable giving as part of this platform to enable really employees to say, okay, I want to dedicate a portion of my benefits into, paying it forward is super important. And I feel that in general, this is helping us. You are helping us to create this, again, sense of belonging, a global sense of belonging, connecting employees to our values and to a bigger community. And really, I think the freedom to choose is an amazing capability that you bring. And I want to use the opportunity to thank you and the team for going hand in hand with us. And we have a lot of aspirations for the future. So stay tuned.
Thank you. And this is an opportunity for us also to say thank you. So we have been working in this space for more than 10 years. And there are few customers, there are always problems here and there. All those things will keep on happening. Yeah. But we know that the clients who push us hard are the ones who actually are having some value in the platform. They see a future. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference, right? Yeah, something is running, I don't care, something is happening there, right? So it has been such a wonderful experience working with Amdocs. I would rate it among our top 4 or 5 clients globally. And we are learning a lot. We are also improving the system based on your feedback. So thank you for that. Thank you, Idit, for joining me today.
Our privilege.